I mean, the TVs, first of all, the TVs aren't that expensive anymore. And I've never had a surge break anything in my house. Have you ever had anything break from a surge?
No, no. I've had multiple surges on this computer I'm using right now to record this podcast, and it and computers I think are probably the thing most susceptible to surges, and it did not do anything.
I think that's true, and you probably, I guess, should put your computer on a $5 power strip.
Well, that's what it's on, but the problem was this apartment's weird, and the like this whole wall is one like fuse or whatever you call it.
Right, right. That makes sense sometimes.
But it's like the microwave, like the electric kettle, like things that use a lot of resources. So if you have the microwave and the electric kettle on at the same time, the fuse blows.
Right, but you flip the switch and nothing actually breaks though.
Right. Also, I just to be sure, I got an extension cord and I moved this computer to this wall, and so if the power goes out again, I flip the switch, but I don't have my computer off.
Jay's like, just to be sure, I bought the $200 one. I
Yeah.
saved $50.
Yeah.
The HDMI thing was such a scam. There's all these like our life is full of scam after scam after scam. Remember when text messages you had to pay for text messages? It was like 10 cents a text message. It turned out that the phone companies, it's almost free to them, but they were charging for the text messages.
Oh, you remember when you had to pay to make a phone call, and they were cheaper after 9, so nobody called their parents before like 9:01 p.m.
Right, you had nights and weekends, and then like the old plans were like 7 o'clock, but then the newer plans were like 9 o'clock. They really like before 9 o'clock on a weekday, you were calling no one. Like even 911, you're like, I gotta wait till 901 to call
Right.
them.
Yeah, I was late to the cell phone game, so it was 9 o'clock by the time I got a cell phone.
Yeah, I had 9 o'clock also, and I remember my first phone plan. It was just supposed to be used basically on nights and weekends. So I think my first phone plan was something like 10 minutes a month. It was something absurdly low, where like you couldn't really use the phone during regular
Yeah, mine was
hours.
longer than 10, but it was still pretty short. And texts, I think, were limited to 100 a month or something.
Right, which is something that like you would blow past so easily, like now, especially with like group text.
Yeah, yeah, forget it. You get a group
With
text
group, can you
going.
imagine it's 10 cents a text and you're on a group text and you're like you want to murder your friends?
Right.
I can't pay my electric bill because you guys keep texting.
A $50 group text chain.
Yeah. The things that were scams that we all fell for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, when the internet first came out, it was you had to pay to be on the online. Like you had to pay. You got like when you got AOL, you had like 20 hours a month, and you had to pay above that.
Well, now we have a reverse scam where you have to pay to go online for video games, even though you could go online for free for like 10 years. And then they're like, what if we just charge you $10 a month instead?
I don't know this. What are you talking about?
Your son doesn't have that problem? Like, don't
Oh,
you have to get a
not
PlayStation account like for him to go play Fortnite?
Fortnite. You don't have to pay to play on like you can play with other people on Fortnite. You don't have to pay any extra. I know what you're saying. You can get like a. I know what you're talking about now. You can get like a PS4 Plus or Plus account where you can play games. Generally, play other games, but
Yeah,
for Fortnite, for some reason, you can play Fortnite without paying any extra
online.
online. Yeah, so he
Okay,
can play his friends in other houses, and we never have to pay any additional money.
weird.
I mean,
Okay.
they charge you for like in-app they get you to buy skins and all this
Well,
other
yeah, I mean
crap. So
that's a thing, but a lot of the games they're like if you don't have a subscription, you can't even play online against other people, and it's like,
did it
well,
used to be
we used
free
to do
for all
that.
the games?
Yeah, it used to be free for all the games, and then they're like, yeah, it would be better if we just charged you money. So we're just gonna charge money now.
Yeah, awesome. The
Yeah,
world is an awesome place.
yeah.
The I wish like there's you'll see also like I've noticed I was at the Met game and I noticed there are more things now like on the mound there was an advertisement like some brand had advertised like a little like on the mound they had
Hmm.
like a projection on it and we were saying how like sure add all the ads you want can the ticket price be cheaper like they add the ads they're advertising to us and they're still charging us more money for the
I'm
tickets.
completely fine with the ticket price. Have less commercial breaks. Like the
Yeah,
NBA
yeah,
added
do something to
ads
make
on the
it better.
jersey They have ads in the corner during free throws now. They have ads on like the billboard by the half court line, but there's the same amount of commercials. So I'm like,
Same amount of commercials, same amount of everything. Like, how about charge us less money to go to the game? And like every time Jalen Brunson scores a point, he goes, "I got that because I drink Pepsi." Just, he'll say it during the game. Who cares? Just charge us a little less.
mm-hmm. Exactly.
So Jay, what's going on with you?
Not too much. I'm just working and still working on the Brink game and not doing much else with my life. How are you doing?
I am doing fucking terrible.
Oh.
I hurt my back, and I have not slept basically since Wednesday.
How did you hurt your back?
I don't. I was working out on Tuesday. I did. So I was doing. It's such a dumb thing to have done. Also, I work out at home. I don't go to a gym, and so I was doing pull-ups. And to make the pull-ups harder, I put weights in a backpack and wore them while I did the pull-ups. I don't know that. Like, I didn't feel any particular like anything that happened during that, but the injury like developed. Like, I started feeling it later in the day. So I'm assuming that had to be. That was the only asinine thing I did that day. So I'm assuming that was what caused the injury. I don't know what. I'm not like I'm training for anything, and like, why the hell am I doing that?
Why didn't you just do more push-ups, pull-ups?
Pull-ups. Yeah. Well, I was kind of. I wasn't getting more pull-ups. At some point, I wasn't able to like. I wasn't kind of plateauing. So I thought this would be a way to like do a little more strength train. I don't know why. Like I don't know why I'm doing this. It's just in my head. I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I could do some pull-ups with some weight and for no purpose. Like, there's no like. No matter how much I can achieve, no one gives a fuck. My wife doesn't give a fuck. My kids don't give a fuck. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know why I even work out. I work out all the time. I still look like I look. It doesn't fucking make a difference.
So you can't sleep because of your back?
Oh my God. It has been so bad. So I think I'm going for an MRI tomorrow, and I think I have sciatica. I don't know. Have you ever had sciatica?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, my symptoms my lower back is a little tight, not a big deal. My right leg is just in pain. My hip like is just like it hurts. My calf on the right side of it, just dull throbbing pain the whole day. At nighttime, it's the worst. And basically, there is no position. The only position I can do where it doesn't bother me that much is standing up. So I just like turn over, stand up for a little while, turn over, stand up for a little while. I have slept, I guess, including Wednesday night, I think I slept maybe 2 hours a night at most.
For reference, we're recording on Wednesday, so it's been a full week.
It's been a full fucking week. I've been calling my doctor, like asking, like, I'm like, I don't think you understand. I can't give me fucking harder drugs. I need drugs. I need something. You have to, like, they're giving me like at first. On Saturday, I go to this walk-in orthopedic place, and they give me a steroid. All the steroid does is help you not sleep and does nothing about the pain. So I have to get off the steroid, but you have to like go through the steroid process. Tomorrow's my last day. Then the doctor, he's like, oh, it's probably just PT. If you just do 6 weeks of PT, I'm like, I'm gonna be dead by next week. I can't do 6 weeks of PT. I need to fucking sleep. He's like, okay, I'll give you this whatever, and so I took this other pen. It's supposed to be like a stronger Advil. I took it, feel a little better during the day, fine. Then at nighttime, fucking can't sleep. So I'm like, can you give me like sleep medications? Like, I can't give you sleep medication. Try melatonin. You don't want to mix too much stuff anyway. So I'm like, maybe the melatonin will help me sleep through the pain. I sleep from 10 p.m. to like 11:30 p.m. up the rest of the fucking night. Because the pain is so bad. I called a doctor today. I'm like, he's like, well, you have to go to a pain management guy in our practice. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? You're the doctor. How? There's a separate doctor for pain?
There's a separate doctor for everything now.
Holy shit. So I have to make an appointment with the pain management guy. Every night I have a different tactic now to like try to figure out how to sleep. So today I didn't take the fucking drug for actually, you're supposed to take this drug, this Advil, super strong Advil, only once a day. Last night in the middle of the night, I'm so miserable. I'm like, well, I took the drug like 15 hours ago and not 24. Fuck, I'm just gonna take it now because I'm losing my mind. And now tonight I'm gonna try taking it right before bedtime and hope that will somehow alleviate the pain so I can sleep through the night. I have been just wandering through my house during the night. I've been watching coming down to our basement TV to watch like episodes of South Park while not sitting on the couch while I'm like pacing while watching it because I can't sit down.
Jesus.
I am somehow able to sit right now without a lot of pain.
Still no Blacklist though.
No Blacklist. Jay, there's a show called Blacklist, which very popular show though. So I don't know why I'm introducing it like anyone, like no one's heard of it. Jay is obsessed with the show. How many seasons did you watch, Jay? 24 seasons?
I watched all of them. 10 seasons.
10 seasons. Jay's like, it is the greatest. It is a masterpiece. I've never seen a better show. Mark, you have to watch it. I was like, okay, not that I have to, but sure, I'll watch it. I'm like, wow, this show. Wow, 20 episodes to go in the first season. Shit.
Mark's like, I don't sleep and all I do is watch TV, but I'm still not going to watch the show.
Maybe I'll start watching Blacklist. Maybe I'll be like, Blacklist, there's a lot of exciting stuff supposedly happening in the show. But maybe I'll try that. Maybe tonight when I'm not sleeping, I'll come down and just watch Blacklist until I kill myself.
I still don't get why you're like, I'm so strong. Pull-ups aren't tough enough.
I'm a fucking
I'm a monster. I'm just so fucking buff. I have to fill up my backpack with rocks and do pull-ups.
It is the dumbest. It's like I am embarrassed to admit. I've had to like the doctor's like, well, what'd you do? Listen, you won't believe how dumb I am. The doctor had his eyes are bugging out. He's like, why would you do that? I'm like, because I'm a fucking moron. Does anyone come here because they did something smart?
It's like, you don't get a gun show like this doing normal pull-ups.
And the thing is, I don't look like you would look at me and go, oh, have you ever worked out before? I'd be like, yeah, that's I don't know why. I worked out almost my whole life, and for whatever reason, like, I'm obsessed with the idea. Like, it's not that I have to do so many. It's just like, well, I guess part of it because I don't go to a gym anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like it's easier to work out at home. So I'm not lifting weights. So I wanted something more challenging. It accomplishes nothing. There's nothing. I don't do better at work because I can do an extra pull-up with like, they're not like, hey, Mark, you're getting a raise. Why? We heard you did pull-ups with a 25-pound plate on your back. That's pretty amazing. That's how you get ahead in our company. We're not like, hey, Mark, you got to really work at this. If you can get some extra pull-ups with some weight, we'll sell more of the game.
I thought you were going to just say something like an old man thing, like, you know, I was doing dishes and my back was I actually pulled my back out doing that once because the sink is at like too low. So I was hunched over at this weird 45-degree angle doing dishes. And when I went back up, like my back tweaked. And I thought you were going to say something stupid, like an old man, like back thing.
I'm going to start telling people, tell people I did it doing dishes because that sounds better. Because at least if you say that, people are like, everyone you hang out with is old also. So they're like, yeah, I mean, it's funny. Everyone has a story about something stupid like that.
Yeah.
No one has a story about like, oh, when I do weighted pull-ups.
This is pretty self-inflicted, yeah.
Yeah, this is like, I know it. It couldn't be anything else. It has to be that. And just more, I have this backpack. I put plates in it. And like, I got like 5 or 6 pull-ups. Yay. Who the fuck cares? I'm not like, oh, and you see under work experience, I have pull-ups with weight.
Did you film it like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho?
I thought you're not allowed to work out in America without filming it and putting it on TikTok.
Mark's just like topless filming himself and flexing in front of the camera after every pull-up.
Jay has no idea. I have like millions of followers on TikTok where I just pose naked.
I mean,
here's me working out.
Honestly, if you did like topless pull-up videos, you would probably get more views than this podcast.
It's really just this thing. It's not really that because people would just be looking with fascination. I'd get like 50 viewers, which would be like
they're like
an all-time record.
We're gonna watch live as Mark throws his back out doing pull-ups with weights.
Listen, guys. I know you guys have been following me from day one. I have to get this. I'm going for a new PR. PB, personal best.
Well, I mean, I hope you feel better soon, but that is a ridiculous way to hurt your back.
Oh, I had to explain to I don't think I fully explained to my wife how I got injured because I think like just the the look of disdain from her. Like, I'm gonna have to put up with this because you're this stupid. So I haven't even told. I don't think I've explained to her. How I just said I got injured. I overdid it working out. Oh, how'd you overdo it working out? Well, I took plates, put them in a backpack, wore them, and tried to do pull-ups. Typical stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the doctor's heard it. Everybody who comes in pretty much has just got plate back injuries.
I'm gonna go back to the doctor and be like, oh, I was kidding about the pull-ups. It was doing the dishes.
You'd be like, okay, that's more sane.
Yeah. So when I do the dishes, I attach weights to my back to make doing the dishes harder.
Mark just puts random weights on different body parts for every activity he does. You ever try mowing the lawn with ankle weights?
If you put a 50-pound weight on your arm, brushing your hair it builds a lot of muscle.
I put weights on the lawnmower because the lawnmower isn't heavy enough to push.
There are people that like you can get like a weighted vest to go like running in. So to make running more fun, I guess you can wear weights running, which I at least haven't done that.
Okay. I mean, I don't need that. I just got fat. Now I have my own weighted vest. I don't have to worry about losing it.
You should write a review on Amazon. Like, I'm not falling for this scam. I already got this for free.
Right. Did you know you can make one for free with chocolate chip cookies?
Though running will make you lose the weighted vest you got for free.
True.
So yeah, I am looking forward to my 8 hours of walking around the house and trying to put off killing myself tonight.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really nice I did manage to like lay on a beanbag chair and sleep for a half hour at some point last night.
You know what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to work out because of your stupidity, and you're going to lose all the muscle mass that you gained doing these.
I haven't been able to work out for the last week. I've barely been able. So another thing I did stupid, just to add to the stupidity, is this hurt a lot. But then I went for a run anyway on Wednesday morning because I was like, I mean, like I'm sure this will be fine when I go for a run.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like limping the entire run.
Wonderful.
I'm like it's amazing how dumb I am.
So now you're basically Bri. You just can't sleep ever.
I that's all I've been thinking about is how Bri can't sleep, and it's really hard to function if you haven't slept in a week.
Yeah, I've been there. It's not easy.
Yeah, that should be added to the. So first of all, I've been telling a lot of people about your idea of having an average person do the Olympics. Everyone thinks that may be one of the funnier ideas you've ever had. But why don't we for the Olympics also like add sleep deprivation? Do all the event like you like just take competitors who have not slept in 2 days and they have to do like the 400 meters and like people just get dizzy while they're running the 400 meters.
They have different categories. You could have the dehydration category, the sleep deprivation category.
Throw a discus without having slept in a week.
Okay, so Patrick wants us to have a board game discussion.
Okay. Jay, how is the board game going?
I don't think he specifically meant the board game that I'm working on, but
well, update everyone on the board game. This is big news in the Brink world. Jay and Mark were working on a board game. Now Jay is working on a board game.
Yes. Mark said I had fun writing the cards. And scene.
I'm as useful as Dogecoin.
So, so I've been working on, I'm getting a Kickstarter ready. If you type in Brink of Sanity on Kickstarter, the game comes up. It's 6 categories. We worked on them all. We have a lot of cards for each one. A lot of Brink inspired ones. Would you rather, Two Truths and a Lie, top 5s, things like that. And it's coming together. And so I'm just waiting to get enough followers on the Kickstarter before I feel comfortable launching.
So Jay has been posting advertisements for the Kickstarter on Facebook, probably Instagram also, but I know about the Facebook one.
Yes,
and
Facebook
all the
and
comments he's getting is, "Isn't this taboo? Isn't this the game taboo?"
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you should cut that portion of the game because it seems like everyone's confused by the fact that it looks like taboo?
Yeah, one of the 6 categories is a taboo-esque game. It has Brink humor. so it's more like adult. But yeah, there's like all five comments are saying this is taboo, and I'm like, it's one of the six categories. It's a different take on taboo, and I made it like the last thing you see, so you can see everything else first, trying to avoid that problem. And I don't know why everybody is like this game is just taboo.
the the idea of the game was like if you've played Cranium, it combines like games you've already seen together, but all put together. It was like four different games you've seen together, but put together.
Yeah.
So we decided to combine, I guess, six games you've seen before in some form or another, like Would You Rather, Taboo, but into one card game with more Brink type humor. And that apparently is lost on people commenting on Facebook.
Money well spent. Money well spent. Also, it doesn't have a board, so the game is a little quicker. It's I think it's more fun. I took everything that I did not like about Cranium and removed it. And
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with the game is supposed to be the idea is that you are having a lot of fun joking around with your friends as you're playing the game because the cards lead to funny conversations.
yeah, yeah. I also like with our rules, the person reads the card and everybody else playing can jump in on every single card because I was playing Cranium with my neighbors and half the people are just sitting watching the other half of the people play every single turn. And I was like, you're not playing more than you're playing. So I wanted a game where you're playing 100% of the time.
Like apples to apples, where you're always kind of in the game. Basically.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a amalgamation of a bunch of things, like the best of other games that we put together. But apparently, it's just taboo to everybody.
Have you thought about just taking the Brink of Sanity logo and just slapping on the game Monopoly and selling Monopoly? Isn't that Monopoly? Buy the game. Please just buy the game and find out.
Maybe I should just have the ad say this is nothing like taboo.
That's what for all of them, you should say, not taboo, not charades, not Pictionary.
Right.
But that's Pictionary. Did you see the word not?
Right. Totally different. Has the word not.
How many games would you like to sell? Or what's your goal with your initial sale?
I'm not focused on game sales. I'm focused on funding just because I don't have a lot of money saved up. And the more...
By the way, if you had a lot of money saved up and you used it for this, I would get angry at
you. The more you order, the cheaper it is per game. And so I need a certain amount of...
How much are you trying to raise?
The goal is 5,000. Ideally, it would be closer to 20,000.
Okay, that's a pretty big range. But 5,000 on Kickstarter seems like a smaller number in terms of Kickstarter world.
Yeah, so we could do 5,000. 10,000, basically, the game happens. Everybody gets their game. I did this basically for free. I could just say I made a game. There's no profit.
Wait, for 10,000, say that again?
10,000, all the games...
You raised $10,000.
Yeah. The game happens. Everybody gets their game. I get almost no profit. It's basically just...
Do you know how to run a business, Jay?
That's why I want closer to 20, because 20 brings the price down. I order more units, the price per unit goes down, and then you can get more profit.
You're saying in the initial... Obviously, you could always sell more, but if you're ordering for $10,000 or less, you're basically at break even with your costs.
Yes. Yes. So okay. I would rather order 20,000. It doesn't matter if they sell right away, but eventually, like, there will be profit down the road.
Have you thought about ordering 1 million? Because then they'll be...
Yeah, then they'll be like a nickel each, and they could make a lot of money. But yes.
Jay, where are you living these days? Well, there was this board game I was making. Anyway, I'm living in a home made out of the board game.
And there's almost no way to make money for the expansion.
The expansion?
Yeah, well, if there's an expansion, yes.
Explain what expansion is.
Expansion's an add-on to a game. So the game has 50 cards in each category. And it's got the dry erase boards, the markers, the timer, the bells and whistles. The expansion would just be 20 more cards for each category in a box. Nothing else. Just cards in a box. And
why can't you make money doing that?
Because Amazon charges about $5 to store, pack, and ship each unit.
Okay.
So the expansion would sell for about 10. But I still have to pay to get the game made, which is probably going to be $2 or $3. So now we're down to $2 per expansion, and that's before any advertising or tax on any of these sales or anything. So it's basically for free.
Right. I mean, I guess in theory you don't have to have Amazon store it for you, but most people like buying items that are Amazon, that go directly from Amazon. They just sell better, basically, if Amazon's.
Well, I mean, you could have the game on Amazon and store it yourself, but I also live in a co-op, and I really don't think a pallet of 1,000 games showing up in the lobby is gonna fly. I'm gonna get like fined so bad.
I would love to do the show where the entire background is just boxes of the game, and you're you're like just screaming like, please, people in Australia, buy the fucking game. I haven't seen my couch in a month.
Well, that happened. At first, I'm like, I'm going to try and partner with other people who have made games and basically do like a Shark Tank type of thing. Like, here's the game, you make the game, give me like $2 a unit, and you keep the rest.
Yeah, what they call a royalty.
Yeah. So I was trying to do that, and one guy showed me a picture of his room, and it was a room of boxes. He's like, I have one game, I'm doing this on my own, and my whole apartment is boxes, and I can't do a second game.
Was he making money?
He said it took him 3 years, but he broke even.
Oh, so basically, like your $10,000 thing, he spent 3 years of his life and has made no money.
Yeah. So it's all about economies of scale. Like I said, if I could order 20,000 worth, not that I'm going to be like rolling in the dough, but there will be some profit, and it will be like worth it. So,
what if you got $10,006? That last $6 would probably be pretty profitable for you.
Yeah. That'll probably go to ads where people would say it's just taboo.
Just taboo. That would be, I mean, it would be, so what would your pitch? Let's say, can you take this, can I be the shark? I'll be one of the sharks. I'm not going to do any impression. I'm just going to be one of the sharks, and you're on Shark Tank, Jay.
Okay.
Come on, do the pitch.
All right. So we got an adult party game that has.
Wait, no, but what are you offering? What deal are you offering? I'm a shark. I want a percentage.
Oh, okay. So I want $20,000.
Okay.
For 30% of the game.
Okay. So you're saying this game is worth like $65,000?
Yes.
What do you base that on?
Base that on tweets. I'm ready.
I always ask you little numbers like, oh, what are you basing it on? You're like, hope.
Yeah. Dreams.
Dreams and hope. It's do you have any sales? Well, again, dreams and hopes.
They're like, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll give you $20,000 for 99% of your company. That's basically what Shark Tank does.
They do take large percentages. So the guys are obviously super rich. Why can't they just give you 20 grand? If Mark Cuban gave you 20 grand, he probably it's like losing. It's like spare change for him.
Yeah.
He's probably has 20 grand in his couch cushions right now. Why couldn't he just give it to you? And if he doesn't make money on you, who gives a fuck?
Literal life-changing money for me. But yeah, I don't know. They don't. I stopped watching because they don't even talk to you unless you're making six figures already. Like, they don't want to do anything anymore. They're just like, yeah, we want to call a chain store and get you in there, and then call it a day and take like half your profit.
I still find the show entertaining. It's just the most important entertaining part is just hearing about the different businesses.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you hear about something that has a lot of it's made a lot of money, but the sharks find major faults in it,
mm-hmm.
and it'll be like, I'm selling this caramelized cheese. Oh, okay. Well, do you have any sales? Yeah, I sold. It was $40 million last year. Oh, but the food industry's pretty tough. We just don't think you're gonna make it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Or your margin's only 50%. We don't like it.
There was a guy in the early days. I think especially in the early days of the show, and maybe now also, they encourage them to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine they're getting paid by the show, and they're like, hey, this show doesn't. if you don't invest in these products, that these businesses, the show doesn't work.
Right.
But what this guy's business was, I will draw a cat for you, and you just pay him like $25 to draw a cat.
Mm-hmm.
You tell him what do we want the cat doing, and he mails you a picture of a cat, not like a masterpiece picture of a cat, like a cat that you would draw, Jay, with your level of artistic artistic,
Mm-hmm.
like that's and they invested in him.
You know,
His business was called, I think it was called I'll Draw a Cat for You.
what the fuck? That just
You
pisses
should
me
do a
off.
video for Shark Tank.
I mean, that
And
just
you have to have like a story. Like you're like, "Oh, how'd you get interested in making this card game?" Well, when my mom and dad both died in a car accident, they just said right before they died they wanted me to make a card game. And my aunt and uncle also died, and I have cancer. Anyway, and I'm gonna cry right now. Please invest.
my my aunt was at a warehouse and a whole rack of cards fell on her, and she got buried in cards and suffocated to death. And so I dedicated my life to making a better card game that doesn't suffocate people.
My mom survived 9/11 because she was playing cards in her apartment, not in the World Trade Center.
Yeah, they all have stories like my uncle worked in a coal mine, and I was abused as a child and had to work from when I was 3 years old. And
They all cry on the spot. It's like they're
yeah,
practicing crying on the spot. Like I'm like, how do you get so emotional just pitching your business, even if it's like connected to some like emotional story? Like,
right. Like, you know, you've pitched this business 100 times already. You cry every single time. I'd be like, I don't want to do business with somebody this emotionally unstable.
yeah, yeah. Well, the reason I'm not investing is you're a crybaby. Okay, I
Right.
want people that aren't crybabies.
Yeah, you know, you sell cheese, and every time somebody mentions cheese, you hysterically break down. Probably not a good match.
Ooh, we're not gonna. I don't know if we're gonna hit our fourth quarter numbers. Are you gonna cry now?
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of these people have agents now, and they're like prepped, and it's like a
Probably,
professional.
that's probably true. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I guess if you get like it's like a game, it's a life changing thing getting on that show because like even if you
Mhm.
have a dumb idea, you're gonna have amazing exposure. So you probably are hiring consultants who like are getting you ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, these people aren't like they have professional presentations. It's not like a guy like me who's just gonna like show up with my game. Like, they have, like, you know, they come out in like mini cars, and like, yeah, it's ridiculous now.
That would be it would be great. You're on there and they're like, "You have the rest of the game." Well, I don't have the money to make the full prototype. You don't have the money to make a full prototype for a board game. No, that's why I want the investment.
Oh, do you know how much the full prototype is?
How much is the full prototype?
$500.
Wait, what?
Because the full prototype is them setting up the machines for mass production. They can't do a one-off. So this is like locking in like everything. So
Okay.
to get a full
So I mean, I guess the big business is finding idiots like ourselves and making the game for us. Like
Mhm.
if you're the company making the game, you're the company you're making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
From day one, you're making money because you're like, oh, well, I don't care if it sells or not. Like I'm just gonna make the game, ship it to them. They'll never sell the game, and I make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't we do that? What can we figure out how to make games and then sell people on how to go make their game for them?
I feel like that's a little more complicated than actually making the game.
What if you figure it out and do all this work, and then I come into business with you?
Like every other idea.
Exactly. If we could do it together, but you do the whole thing, that would be really helpful.
You know what? How about Jay does all the work, and we'll put my name first, because just
Yes,
Mark and Jay
yes.
sounds better than Jay and Mark. So
In fairness, for the board game, I was really in on the work and just gave up after that
for some of the categories,
for some of the categories.
for like half the categories, maybe.
Yeah, at some point I was like, Jay, how about we just make this a would you rather game? Jay's like, I care about the other 5 categories. I said, well, that makes one of us.
I like which one? There was one you didn't even understand. You were trying to write cards and you weren't even doing it right. I think it was the taboo
I think
one.
it was taboo because I thought, okay, so the idea is to explain taboo, and I'll explain what I thought.
So you're trying to get other people to say a word, and you're not allowed to use 5 other words when describing this word?
I thought you had to give 5 words, and they had to guess the word from these 5 words.
Right.
I don't know how that would actually even work. I don't know. I thought maybe like you'd read one word at a time till they got it. I had the exact.
I don't know. I was just you wrote like 3 cards, and I'm like, Mark, these cards don't even make sense. Like, what is this?
I was like, would you rather have good work? I mean, do that category or not? You do the stupid category.
Anyway, Patrick asked us about board games. So, what are your some of your other favorite board games?
Are we doing a top 5 here?
Yeah, we could do a top 5.
Okay. I'm gonna rank them by. I'm gonna give my 3rd favorite first, then my 4th favorite, then my 2nd, then my 5th, and my 1st. Is that okay in order for you?
Just pick something.
Okay, greatest board games ever. I'm gonna say Monopoly being an all-time great game.
It is. It's long and also miserable if you're not winning, but the idea of like owning properties and exchanging money is a lot of fun.
Did you know I have an interesting fact about Monopoly? I don't know if you know this.
What is that?
If you play Monopoly long enough, there's an actual end to the game.
Yeah, I've heard. Legend has it that a Monopoly game has been finished before.
I've never in my life experienced. I've played Monopoly so many times, countless amount of times. I've never been involved in a Monopoly game where everyone was like, "Oh, I guess the game's over now." It's the only game where it's totally acceptable for everyone to be like, "Okay, I'm bored. I'm done." Just midway through the game, like, like let's just do something else. I can't play this anymore.
You'll be shocked to know that I have Muppet Monopoly.
I am not shocked to know that, but my son got he was reading like a bunch of years ago. He was reading the Harry Potter books, and he got someone gave him a Harry Potter chess set, which sounds really cool. So I was like, oh, let's play chess, and I broke up the Harry Potter chess set, and I'm like,
you don't know what any of the pieces are?
I don't know what any of the fucking pieces are. I don't know what's the like. I'm like, this is idiotic. I don't know what the pieces are. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna keep that in the closet till we throw it away.
Well, they weren't even like similar shapes as the original chess.
No. I mean, obviously there was like you could read the key to figure out what is what.
Yeah,
but
that's just dumb. Yeah.
I don't fucking ever want to read directions. Do you like reading directions, Jay?
No. For the Brink game, I actually wrote like, I hate writing directions. You hate reading directions, so this is gonna be really short. And I wrote like as short as possible instructions.
I dread anytime I have to like as a parent and living in a house and a family, whatever. I often have to put stuff together. Anytime I have to do that, I dread it. Some people like putting stuff together. I hate it. And anytime I have to read the directions, I'm like, oh, even if the simplest direction, I'm like, oh fuck, I've got to read some directions. Okay, this is gonna be awful.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with code words. Have you ever played that?
So what were the chances that game 2, Jay picked something that no one has ever heard of?
You've never heard of that?
I've never heard of this.
Is it
code words?
Code words.
You have it right there?
I do.
You buy it for this episode?
Code names.
Oh, could we just put the name Brink on there and sell that? No one's gonna be like, if you posted that on you did ads for that one, no one's gonna go, isn't that code names?
I went to a board game store and bought that, and they said it was their bestseller.
What is it? Explain the game.
So basically, you are trying to get people to find a connect. You have like a grid of different words, and you have to. Okay, so each person has a different color, and only they know the key. So you're trying to get your team to only pick the cards that are over your color, and vice versa. And so you try and connect words and get as many as possible. So you're trying to say like 3 words, and then you say 1 word trying to connect the 3, and people have to pick those 3 cards.
Is this game more or less fun than my back injury?
It's hard to explain, but it's fun. It's good.
Okay. That sounds okay. My next one, Stratego.
Oh, I was gonna pick that.
It's a pretty good one. I haven't played that in many years, but I used to love that game.
Yeah, no, I like that game a lot. Yeah.
For people that don't know, it's like You're kind of like have armies versus each other, and you have to like how to best describe it.
Yeah, so like you're moving toward each other, and each army has a number that the opponent can't see, and so you gotta
Right.
pick which ones to go against, and the higher number obviously wins, or maybe the lower number. I don't remember.
I don't remember. It's a simple like number versus number, and they can't see it, so you have to kind of like guess, figure out what the other person's. It's a little bit of psychology also.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That one's a good one. Categories. You ever play that one?
It, is that a category is good, but is that a board game? Because I feel like is there a board?
I don't think you have to have a board.
Or I guess you missed the category when it said board games. I guess you didn't understand.
But it falls under the board game category. It's a box game. No.
You thought the category was box games.
What would you call our game?
James like jump rope.
I mean, our game would technically be a board game.
It's a box game.
There's
no board.
Okay, whatever.
Can you have a board game without a board?
Well, what would you call like apples to apples?
Is there a board?
No, but what would you call it?
I would call it a box game.
People would be like,
it's just
Mark,
a card
what the
game.
fuck is a box game?
Okay. My next board game is baseball.
People
baseball.
If you go over to your friend's house and say, "Hey, do you have any box games?" See what they say. What's your favorite box game?
But at least that makes sense. It's a game in a box or a card game. It's a card game.
You know what's also in a box? Board games.
What?
Board
games? Okay.
Yeah, they're in a box.
Do you want a box game with a board or without a board?
Fine.
Okay, so I thought why don't we write a message Patrick for next show? Patrick wrote this question. Let us know if you meant actual board games or whatever Jay wants to put in this category.
Fine. Life. You ever play Life?
Yes. Many years. Is that a fun one? I don't remember that one being that much. Is that a good one?
I haven't played it in so long. I remember liking it when I was a kid, but I don't know if it holds up.
I'll give you one just so you're on your there is no board, but Rummy Cube. You played Rummy Cube?
I've never heard of Rummy Cube.
Oh, because I'm playing that all the time. I play that a lot with my daughter. It's really fun. It's you played Rummy?
I played
Rummy?
like 500 Rummy.
Yeah, okay. So the same general Rummy principles of like trying to get like 3 or 4 in a row. But you have tiles. And you can build on other people's tiles. But it's all numbers and different colors. But you can basically put everything out like there's no actual board, but you put everything out in front of you like a kind of like a Scrabble without the board. You kind of like I'll put like like 3 4s, put them out, and then someone else can add another 4, or you can add to it basically.
Okay.
But it's not actual. I think it's more of a box. It's a tile.
Okay, we'll stick to ones that have boards just to make you happy.
You're just so crazy about this whole board thing. Okay. Okay. So the next one I'd say is chess.
Okay.
Does chess count as a board game?
Yeah, I would say, right? It's on a board. It's on a literal chess board.
Yeah. Classic. Always a fun game.
You ever play Chinese checkers?
Yeah. Is that the one with the balls?
Yeah, you get the little like marbles and you got to move them around.
Yeah. I think I had one of those sets where it was Chinese check. It was like a bunch of different games, including Chinese checkers.
Okay, yeah, I like that one a lot.
You put that like as your top 5 of all time. The Chinese themselves are embarrassed about this game. Like they don't even want this associated with their people, and you're like, ooh, little marbles move around. That's my top 5.
I don't know, like Mousetrap.
You're really reaching now.
I am.
Okay, Jay. You know what? You can do games that are in boxes. Also, we'll expand the category so you don't pick shit for the top 5.
I will say Cranium is one of my
Candyland.
Cranium is one of my favorites.
Oh, okay. Were you mocking Cranium like 5 seconds ago?
Well, my problem is it takes too long.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if we're gonna do like box games, would you put, if you had to put top 5, would you put Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity? Which one would you put in there?
I'd put Apples to Apples.
Why?
I feel like when you play Cards Against Humanity, there's certain cards that just always win because they're a lot funnier than the other cards.
Yeah.
And so you don't really have to be creative with like a dozen different cards. It's just like, oh, I got this card. I'm going to win this round.
Right, right. You get something like the giant gorilla pussy lips. Okay,
Yeah.
well that's gonna probably win the category.
Right, right. So like I feel like you have to be a little more creative with apples to apples. So I do like it a little better. When
I
like
also
the first time or two I played Cards Against Humanity, I was like, oh, this is the funniest shit ever. And then the more I played it, I'm like, yeah, the same cards are winning every time.
the shock factor, like some of the joke stuff wears off a little bit. So like also apples to apples is just more playable. Like it's also nice like I like the jokes and jokes, but it's also nice that like I can play a wider audience with apples to apples. Like
Yeah.
I can involve my kids in apples to apples. That's fine. Cards Against Humanity are like, okay, well now I have to make sure like no old people or no young people are involved.
Right, right. Yeah, that's fair.
What's your next one? Shoots and ladders?
I was more of a Candyland type of.
Okay.
Um,
You're not gonna put I didn't like this game, but a lot of people love this game. And I don't know if you love this game also. I never actually even learned how to play it. Risk.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I never learned how to play that game, and that's one of the games where I know people were like super into that game.
Yeah, no, I loved Risk. I actually almost got into a fist fight over Risk.
Was the argument like that? Like you're like, this is an actual board game, and your shit is not a board game.
My friend's little brother was a loose cannon, and I attacked one of his countries, and I just had this insane streak of rolling high numbers, and I basically wiped him out on the very first turn of the game, and he just snapped and started swinging at me.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. The why was there never a Risk movie? Was there ever a movie for that?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like you'd be able to do a lot more with that than like Battleship, and there was a Battleship movie,
I'll give you the
which was a good movie, by the way. Battleship.
Is Battleship okay? Is Battleship a board game? I guess it's kind of because you kind of have a board.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Okay,
say.
I'm gonna give you for my next one. I'm also gonna give you the best board game ever made into a movie. See if you
Okay.
can guess this.
The best board game ever made into a movie?
They made a movie out of this board game. It's hands down the best. I don't know. I also can't name too many board games that were turned into movies, but this is hands down the best one.
Better than Battleship?
Yeah. By the way, why was there like a Monopoly movie?
That's just life.
Oh, a movie about rich assholes. That sounds great.
Right. Board game that was made into a movie
Yeah, I
That
can't
we-
believe you don't know this.
that we haven't mentioned.
I'll give you the movie is from I believe the 80s. Maybe late 80s. I forget exactly. Comedy, very funny.
Oh, Clue.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Great game and great movie, and I'm fairly certain the best board game ever turned into a movie.
Yeah, it's that or Battleship.
Is Battleship really a good movie? Come on.
I liked it.
I've never seen it, but I already know without seeing it, it's probably not a good movie.
It was surprisingly good.
Did they don't spoil it for me. Did they actually spoil it for me. Did they sink his battleship?
Did you ever see Pacific Rim?
I've not seen that one either, but that's
Okay, it's in the vein of that.
okay.
It's a big dumb action movie, but it was like surprisingly good.
Okay. I mean, I sometimes big action movies are just fun and just good. It's just funny
Yeah, people get
mean-
all worked up about these movies, like, oh, this didn't stay true to like the original material or something. Sometimes I just like a big dumb action movie. I've liked all the Transformer movies.
okay. I find so speaking of like big dumb action movies made of very little like Pirates of the Caribbean. That movie, you like Pirates of the Caribbean?
I really like the first one. I think I only saw up to 2 or 3. I know there's
Okay,
like
so-
6 or 7 at this point, but
Forgetting about all the sequels. The first one's a really good movie.
Yeah.
I think most people today don't even realize it was based on a ride at Disneyland. Like when people see the ride, they're like, "Oh, they made a ride based on the movie." No, the movie's based on the ride.
Oh,
The ride's been
I didn't know. I thought it was vice versa too.
no. Oh, you didn't know that? Okay,
Yeah.
but versus they recently made like River Cruise. Like there was one with another ride movie.
Carousel.
Jungle Cruise.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Carousel, the movie.
Well, Jungle Cruise. Apparently, it's a terrible movie, and people are like, "Why is it so terrible?" It's based on a ride with no story.
Right. The ride is 35 seconds long.
I done the ride. It really is a short ride. There's nothing to the goddamn ride.
They're just out of ideas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they were like, well, Pirates of the Caribbean did well. What's another popular Disney ride we could milk?
Space Mountain.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a Space Mountain movie.
I mean, at least that sounds cool.
I went on Space Mountain for the first time earlier this year.
Oh,
Have you ever
really?
gone on it?
Yeah, in like 1987.
Okay. It was. I think I had a really big build. Maybe we talked about this earlier in the year, but I thought it was gonna be like some giant roller coaster because it's like a very famous like. I was like, oh, that was it. It's just like in the dark and like mildly entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. But at least you had to wait like an hour to do it.
Well, everything if you wait, they have like the fast passes now, so you wait like just shorter. Disney World's a whole like hell on earth type thing where like it's capitalism that's worst.
I don't know how people go every year. I really don't.
I don't know. I really like like you go every year or something. There was a whole article I was reading about how people now are going into debt to go to Disney.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. I was like 9 or 10.
When you're a kid, you're kind of it is kind of mind blowing.
But I've also never ever said, I'm going to go back. I feel like I went on every ride and I saw it and I'm like, okay.
If you had kids, you might want to take your kids, I guess.
I feel like I'd rather just go to Six Flags. If you go like first thing in the morning, you get on every ride before everybody else shows up and you're done within like 30 minutes.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good ways to waste your money as a parent.
Yeah. That one seems excessively expensive though.
No, yeah, Disney World's like just stupid. But yeah, are we done with the board games? Any other board games that we haven't said that were really good?
I think we covered.
I think we killed it. We didn't the honorable mentions. Checkers.
Yep.
I would say checkers.
It's a classic.
I did it. What about checkers? What are you saying?
It's a classic.
They call it the U.S. Chinese checkers.
No, I like checkers.
Would you now that you remember checkers, would you put Chinese checkers or checkers first? And remember, you live in America.
Yeah, probably regular checkers. Just for like, it's fun sometimes to just play a quick game that takes like 5 minutes.
Okay, would you put checkers or chess? Which one would you like? Which is like a give me your would you rather play?
I'd probably rather play checkers. I know it sounds like I'm a dumbass, but sometimes just a quick fun game is,
Okay, your friends are coming over tonight. Adult friends, you can play one game with them tonight. What game is it?
The Brink of Sanity card game.
Okay, let's do it. I feel like of the party games, Apples is probably the best party game.
Yeah.
Next to the Brink of Sanity game, which will be the far superior.
Yes.
What else is going on, Jay? Actually, no, one more thing I wanted to mention, basically from my back injury and everything else. I have a question for you, Jay.
Okay.
Have you ever in your entire life gone to get drugs from a pharmacist and had the pharmacist offer to give any information at all about the drug?
I don't think so.
Like, they're trained, they go to school to know how drugs work. All I see them do is they, on the little thing with your credit card, they'll mark off for you, did not, declined to ask for advice. That's all they've learned in their 4 years of pharmaceutical school is how to tell the customer, you need to decline asking us for advice.
Yeah, they do it for you now. I did notice that. They used to be like, pick one and hold their breath hoping you wouldn't ask any questions. And now they're just like, yeah, we're not going to answer your question.
Should they say like, Hey, Jay, here are the drugs. Do you need any consultation on the drugs?
They probably
Instead of even
started
giving you
doing
the
that.
goddamn thing.
They probably started doing that, and it was just the worst experience ever. Everybody had questions, and they said, "You know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna say no."
I assume like in the early days, like in the 1950s, I bet you went to your pharmacist and he was like an encyclopedia about the drugs. He'd tell you everything. He'd ask you a lot of questions. And then little by little, capitalism came more and more. And they were like, do not let the customers ask questions. Just get their money and move them on.
1950s, they probably went to your house and delivered it to
1950s, they were like, we haven't invented real drugs yet, but like we'll tell you all about them.
you. Yeah. You want a free lobotomy?
But it's like they even check off for you, as you said, you've declined. Well, sir, I haven't declined. When I was paying the other day, yes, when I was paying for the drugs the other day, I checked on it like, no, I have not declined. And the guy was like, okay, bye.
He's like, same result.
Same result. I checked off I did not decline. Yeah, well, it wasn't a real option. Sorry, sir.
That button's just for show.
I would like to see, like, I don't under like, why are they even going to pharmaceutical school if they're not going to explain anything about the drugs?
I don't know. Yeah, seems like seems kind of like a broken system, like the rest of our healthcare.
Okay, so this is part of my I'm building a platform for whatever presidential candidate wants it. And so far we have things like three horn, three uses of your horn a year. And the now I'm going to add, we're going to force pharmacists to explain drugs to you. Little by little, we're going to win over America. Also, we're storing all homeless people can now live in in any 24-hour gym. What's the one the $10 one a month? Planet Fitness.
Planet
We're
Fitness.
we're gonna solve the homeless problem by letting the homeless people live in Planet Fitness.
I mean, it is cheaper than giving them hotels.
No, I've done this talked about this on the show before, but like, what are your fitness goals? To have a roof over my head.
All right. So there was a guy in Miami, and he started a pizza place. But what he did is he picked the same name as the most famous pizza place in the area, and also he didn't know how to make pizza. So he was just taking the orders from the real pizza place, and sometimes he would just put dough in a box. Sometimes it would be an empty box. Sometimes it would.
Oh, I thought he was going to buying pizza from the other place and just selling it. No, he
was just putting whatever he had in a box and pretending to be the other place and running away before they opened the pizza box and collecting money.
Why wouldn't you just learn how to make pizza? This is the shittiest scam ever.
Well, I mean, it'll cost you need pizza ovens and a storefront. Like, this guy was literally just rerouting the orders and showing up. And so this other place was getting bad reviews, getting reported to the Better Business Bureau. And this was going on for years. And they finally caught him.
Years?
Years.
I mean, a pizza, how much is a pizza? Like $15, $20? This is not a big area to make your money in. You're not Tony Soprano of the fake pizza industry.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're getting $20 a pizza and you're putting almost nothing in the box, it's pretty good.
Well, you still have to get the boxes and like you have to deliver them.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most popular pizza place in the area, so he was probably
like you're like best Miami's top Miami pizza, Miami pizza now, and you're intercepting. I guess they're calling you accidentally. Is the idea?
Yeah. So yeah, apparently he put bad, uncooked pizzas in a box. Sometimes it was just a box of raw dough. He'd give it to them, and by the time they'd realize that he was gone, and police said this has been ongoing for several years.
Why? I mean, everything about that is just he's going to the trouble of buying dough, but just not learning how to make a pizza. Like
Yeah.
he could just make a pizza. He doesn't have to have a big pizza. He can make Elios and put it in the goddamn box.
Well, I mean, sometimes it said bad and uncooked, so maybe he was putting frozen pizza in some of them. Maybe he got too many orders some days, so he just had to throw some raw dough in there.
Why don't you just deliver empty boxes with like newspaper in them while
Well,
you're at it?
I mean, you'd have to get the weight and the distribution correct, where people are going to know immediately. You need them to know just long enough to close their door so you can run away.
Oh, yeah. I guess you have to give the pizza to the person. Like, I guess you're not leaving it on the doorstep.
Right. So, yeah, it has to have the weight and the distribution of an actual pizza.
Right, and they know it's you because you've shown up at their place. So like, there's an eyewitness to every theft.
There is, but I mean, would you be if somebody handed you something real quick and ran away? Like, would you be able to identify that guy?
Well, I mean, the first part would be like, he ran away. Oh, well, how are we gonna find him? Well, I called them, so I have their number.
He probably just.
How did the police not catch this guy?
I don't
They're
know.
like,
For years, for years.
I don't know how we're gonna catch this person. Well, I have the phone number right here. You can just call them and they'll deliver the criminal to your establishment, to the police station.
Right.
That's
I don't know. I don't know how they didn't catch him. I don't know how it took years. But
how did you bring down this thing? Well, we called the number. We ordered a pizza to the police station, and anyway, we are awesome at cracking cases.
Yeah, record time. 30 minutes or less, we cracked the case.
This is how all their crimes are cracked like this. They're like 1-800. I'm like, we called up 1-800 arson, and the arsonist just came to the police station. We arrested them.
So I like that one.
Cool. I got one for you.
Okay.
Well, actually, not. This is not a news story, but I was trying to think about like how to make. I was gonna propose a top 5, but I didn't do it. I was gonna say top 5 ways we could tell the other person how to improve their lives. But I was stuck on one. I only had one idea.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to just hear my top 1?
Sure.
This is just advice for you.
Okay.
And advice really for all our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
They say basically comparison is the thief of joy. Have you heard that, Jay?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about when I say comparison is the thief of joy?
No.
Okay. It's a famous statement. Basically, the idea is that when you compare your life to others, like you look online on Facebook, you see other people are having fun, and you get like, you're like, oh shit, they all went out tonight, and I'm just watching Blacklist. Or maybe you're Jay, you post Blacklist, yourself watching Blacklist on Facebook, and people are like, oh man, he's watching Blacklist without me.
He's already on season 9, and I'm only on season 2.
Don't tell me what happens. So anyway, so the idea is basically the more you try to keep up with the Jones, the more your life kind of sucks. So if Jay and I are talking and I'm like, Jay, I'm going to drive in my Ferrari, Jay's going to be like, oh, my life sucks. So what you want to do, and they say basically you don't want to have rich friends if you're not rich. On the other hand, Jay, would you say, are you rich?
No.
Well, I think you are rich compared to homeless people. So if you had friends who are homeless, they would look at you like you're rich and you're killing it. They'd be like, Jay, tell us again what it's like to have indoor plumbing.
So you're saying all those homeless people would just be on Facebook?
No, you hang out with them in IRL, Jay, in real life. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess homeless people on. Well, we're giving them the homeless people Facebook. We're just not yet ready to give them homes.
I don't think they'd be impressed at my absolutely normal life.
I think they would. They'd be like, wait, what do you call it again? That place that refrigerates your food? A refrigerator? Holy shit. How do you have this, Jay?
I mean, they're not retarded.
Well, wouldn't you feel a little better about yourself, Jay? Well, at the expense of the homeless people?
No.
Jay's like, I made the guy's life better by giving him a $5 bill. Look what I did for the world.
My advice to you would be no more pull-ups with weighted discs in your backpack.
You think that's a bad idea, Jay?
Maybe just normal pull-up. Maybe just add 5 reps. To the,
I'm gonna go back to normal pull-ups if I ever can sleep again.
Yeah.
But it's also like if you look at like Jay, you may not think you're wealthy, but you know, based on the entire world's population, you're probably in the top 10% of the world.
Okay.
So does that make you feel better? Like you now have more money than all the people in India who have like $8 to their name.
Okay. All right.
Okay, you feel better about yourself?
Yeah, until I ordered 2,000 units of the Brink game and I'm bankrupt.
Is there any way we can like get the Brink game on the crypto, like on the like like there's somehow we could sell it to people eventually, like as a crypto coin?
Are you just making up things? How do you get a board game on
I
it?
haven't slept in a fucking week, Jay. I am just there's a blockchain. Put the game on the blockchain, and then people are like, "Oh, well, I don't want to buy the game." Well, you could buy the game because it's going to go up in value because it's on the blockchain.
I mean, you could probably make a Brink game NFT,
Yeah.
but didn't everybody already find out NFTs are scam? Andy Milanakis scammed millions of dollars of NFTs.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was the story?
He made Andy Milanakis NFTs and he said he was going to do things with them and add things to them. And people bought Andy Milanakis NFTs.
Well, I guess like if you're buying an NFT, you're just like, I'm selling a picture. I'm going to buy the picture
Of Andy Milanakis.
Where's the scam?
Out of all the pictures you could buy, you're going to buy an Andy Milanakis NFT.
Well, I guess the scam would be connected to. He said he was going to deliver things you can use the picture for.
It's Andy fucking Milanakis. Of course it's a scam. I mean,
you don't, Jay. How much money did you lose in this?
that's why the game isn't out yet. I have to start from scratch again.
Yeah, as soon as I finish selling my Andy Milanakis NFTs, I'll have the money for the game.
Right. That's why I'm doing Kickstarter. I lost all my money on Andy Milanakis NFTs.
I can't believe we talked all this about scams, and then we didn't talk about 2 years ago where just digital pictures were worth thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I know. We did so many episodes on crypto, which is still around, and we barely mentioned NFTs, which was a clear scam the very first day it came out.
The moment people were like, "Well, you have a unique picture," and people were like, "Couldn't I just like left click and like copy or right click copy?" And they're like, "Well, no, pay me money for my game,
Secret
my
code.
picture.
It's got a secret code.
It's got a secret code. You can do all this stuff with it. Like if you get all of them, it'll unlock bankruptcy for you."
You could turn $100 into $4.
Yeah, I mean this stuff can go up. Like, can you imagine? Like they even did it was player cards. It was like trading cards. Like instead of having a basketball card, you had an NFT of a basketball card.
Yeah.
And this will be really valuable, like one day, unless of course you take the basketball cards and put them into your digital bicycle, and you ruin them that way.
So yeah, I don't feel bad for anybody who bought an Andy Milanakis NFT.
I don't feel bad for anyone who lost money on NFTs. I kind of feel like you're like, yeah, that was screaming scam. Like, there's no greater scam than that.
Yeah.
I feel bad for people that like fall for like the Nigerian, like your Nigerian uncle left you millions of dollars. I feel that is like, at least you had to really fall for something.
Right. Like some of those are pretty elaborate and could be a little bit believable. Like NFTs were never like, oh yeah, maybe there's something to secret coded internet pictures.
I was reading about some of the scams. Like I was like reading about these scams. When I have a story about like in the New York Times or something, and I was like, I had to talk to my dad after this because I was like, I want to make sure he doesn't fall for it. And the scam, the basic of the scam was they like something happens to your bank account, and they tell you that like, oh, the bank is gonna get the FBI involved, and the hackers are trying to like infiltrate your bank account. But if you work with the FBI, we're gonna get the hackers. And over many months, they just drain your bank account basically. And you don't, and like people don't realize for like a year or two that they were like, they think they're part of like some way to get the hackers with the FBI. So I told my dad, but I'm also pretty sure with my dad, the hackers would just give up and send him money, not so they don't have to seek them anymore.
I mean, when I first started my new job, I got a text and it said, hey, and it was like the name of the CEO of the company and the company name, and it knew my name. And I was
That's pretty.
Yeah, I was like, that's wild. The only reason I immediately knew is because that happened at my last job as well. And
people click on these links also all the time.
Yeah. So it wasn't a link. He was just like, do you have a minute? I need you to do something for me. And I know the scam. He's away and he needs gift cards, and you have to buy gift cards and read them the barcode, and he'll pay you back, and then they just cash out the gift card and disappear.
Yeah, I remember I was working with someone like for work. I was working with like a cat, like someone with work. And he sent me an email saying he was trapped with he had gotten robbed in Spain and needed money. And I was like, I was just talking to him. I didn't realize he was even in Spain. I got confused for a second until I was like, I called the guy. I was like, I got this email.
I just thought it was funny. I'm like, okay, the CEO of this multi-million-dollar corporation is texting me to buy gift cards at a Walmart. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
The scams generally though they become more and more elaborate. Like people, I was listening to a podcast that did a lot of investigation on like the other side of these.
Mm-hmm.
Because you always like when people do the scams, you're like, well, these people are assholes that are trying to scam me.
Yeah.
And it turns out, at least in Mexico and I think other countries also, like the local gangs or mafia have gotten involved in it. And so the people that are trying to scam you, if they don't scam you, they're like if they don't scam enough people, their lives are at risk.
Hmm.
So now you're like, oh, well, this is all fucked.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah. So I don't feel like I'm like, well, are you just let me know, like, are you just trying to scam me, or is your or is are you going to be shot? You get killed if you don't scam me.
Right.
That's okay, great.
Crazy.
That's one because I guess basically it's the local gangs have figured out like I think the drug cartels down in Mexico have realized it's another area where they can get involved in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they haven't screwed up enough areas of society. We'll get in on that too.
Yes. Also, there's a mayoral candidate in Wyoming, and they've created an AI bot that will run the government.
Nobody would notice.
That is his platform. There's like 6 candidates, and this candidate said, I've created this virtual chatbot based on like ChatGPT for the government. And I promise this chatbot will run the government for me if you elect me. I will not make any decisions. The chatbot will do everything.
Honestly, let's give it a shot at this point. Think of all the money that would be. We would probably save like $500 billion a year.
The bot said it did not have any political affiliations, and its goal is to focus on data-driven, practical solutions that benefit the community.
Works for me.
Yeah, I almost kind of want. I hear that. I'm like, I think I might have to vote for the machine. They said, according to human factor, involving humans and having to make decisions that affect so many people is like, it makes things worse. So like, we just need a machine that like understands straightforward calculations.
I'm in.
Yeah. So I'm. So if you can write it, would you write in ChatGPT over Kamala or Trump?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I might actually.
Any other stories, Jack?
I do have 2 real quick. I did the pizza one. So, this Tasmanian woman she got arrested because she was caught with a sex act with a live fish on a boat.
Wow, that's a crazy country they live in that they don't let people do that.
So my question is, why would you film that and distribute that? Because she's also in trouble for distribution. So, like, I mean, besides the whole point of fucking a fish, I don't know how that would work.
How did she? Well, does the story include the video? Because I kind of want to watch the video now.
I mean, no, it doesn't. Apparently, she was 55 when she made a sex act with a trout. I don't know what the sex act would be.
2 girls, 1 trout.
But now she's 58, and she is being arraigned for 2 counts of reproducing bestiality product and 3 counts of possessing a bestiality product. So apparently this was part of a series. Maybe she's trying to get all the different fish. Maybe she has a salmon one, Slam and Salmon.
Why did you keep doing this? Have you ever heard of a trilogy? Slam and Salmon.
That's an actual movie, by the way.
It's an actual bestiality movie?
No, it's a comedy by the guys who
Oh.
did Super Troopers, and they're like,
Oh,
they're
is that
waiters.
funny?
It's been in my queue for like 5 years, and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, someone told me that. Someone told me recently that was pretty funny.
I heard that was like arguably their funniest movie. So
I mean, Super Troopers I thought was really funny.
yeah, I couldn't get more than 10 minutes into Super Troopers 2.
Two. Oh yeah. You liked number one though, right?
Yeah. I actually saw that in the theaters in college, and they showed up to the theater and gave everybody in the theater handcuffs, and they were all like awkward, and just like, it was like, hey, we made a movie. I hope you like it.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it was cool.
But that's actually really cool actually. Any more stories about? I'm running out of gas.
Yeah,
Any more stories about fish fucking?
No, but there was a man who complained about his son's smelly feet, and his son shot his dad in the face because of it.
Okay, you picked like a happy story for the end.
Yeah, we're gonna leave on that note.
Great story. Just play like my music.
I just like the title is Iowa man allegedly shoots his father in the face after complaint about smelly feet.
You know, like in the real story, there's probably a lot behind that. But I really hope just for the story, it was just like, hey son, your feet kind of smell. That boom, like just like pick it up a notch out of it.
I also like how they have to say allegedly. It's like, does the guy have a bullet in his face or not?
I do find the allegedly sometimes a little bit
right.
bit much.
Yeah. Do we need allegedly in cases like that where the guy clearly has been shot in the face?
Yes, like we get. Is he allegedly dead? Is he allegedly a ghost?
They just do that with everything.
Did his feet allegedly smell?
They do that for every like fight. Mike Tyson allegedly knocked out Jake Paul or whatever. Like it's like no, we saw the fight. Like
you should have to throw the word like as part of like a game. Have to throw the word allegedly in the most awkward places. Like you just talk to a coworker like, oh, what day is that meeting the boss called? Our alleged boss called it on Wednesday. I mean, it's allegedly Monday today, so.
All right. On that note, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to email us, thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com, patreon.com/thebrinkofsanity, brinkofsanity3 on Twitter. And
by the way, we should point out just a PSA on a very serious note, like smelly feet. You should not shoot a family member over smelly feet. I know we joked about that and made a little bit of comedy about it, but shooting a family member over smelly feet is a no-no.
Yeah.
Okay. No murder over smelly feet. Okay.
We don't want anybody shooting their father in the face over smelly feet and blaming the Brink of Sanity podcast.
Right. And you may say like, well, what if their feet smell really bad? And then I'll be like, allegedly.
And if you type in Brink of Sanity on Kickstarter, the game will come up. If you want to check that out, I'll also put a link in the show notes. And you could follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well.
If we happen to, I know we have like 3 fans. If one of them happens to be just really rich and can just waste money, can you please just give Jay the money? Because don't you want to see what happens next in this game?
Yeah, I mean, there's
get Jay fully funded. Let's see what happens next.
Multiple expansion packs. And, good stuff. So
keep the Brink story rolling.
20 grand. That's what we need. So thank you for listening, and we will be back soon. All right, goodbye, buddy.
Bye, love.